Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got another weekly recap video for you all. Just kind of going through my lifts for the week and talking about how I'm feeling in my training. I will say, the beginning of the school year is always a difficult transitional time as far as getting back into the groove of the gym after being on my feet all day. But here about 4 weeks into school, which is kind of crazy to think, we're almost at midterms, I'm starting to get used to it, right? My body's catching up, my work capacity is getting there, and I tend to be on my feet all day. I don't sit down during any of my classes, so there's definitely that kind of curve where I have to just be used to, okay, we're going to the gym after being on my feet all day versus in the gym in the summer where I can relax before the gym. But here we are. These are day one lifts. Had pause safety bar squats, kind of just inching those up. So we're up to 5 plates, 495 for sets of 6. Those are pretty handy. I do find that my day one, I tend to actually be pretty fatigued because it's only 2 days after my heaviest day of the week before. So, I feel a little creaky for what it's worth. And then the snatch grip RDLs felt nice and snappy, working the weight up, but things are still really light. So feeling good there and ready to keep those moving forward. Now, day 2, we're sticking with the neutral grip kind of football bar bench. The only football bar that I have in my gym is kind of cambered. I guess that's what you would call it, right? So it's like a deficit at the bottom, but with the kind of shoulder discomfort that I've been having, that neutral grip really seems to be helping things. So I'm excited with that. I progressed it forward this week. We started extremely light last week, and I would still consider this extremely light for both the regular bench and incline. But the weights will creep up soon enough, right? This is one of those things where I'm just playing it patient, feeling like I'm getting some work in while I'm getting used to the movement. You'll also notice I'm trying to get as long of a range of motion as I can. I can touch my chest on the flat bench press, but on the incline, I can get, I don't know, maybe a half inch off my chest before I go up. So we'll keep those rolling. Those are really nice on the shoulder, so I do appreciate that. Now, day 3 has been the biggest change in the past couple of weeks. Now we're just doing some tempo on the eccentric portion of deadlifts. So these are sets of 5 with 335 pounds. Obviously, the weight is not a problem, but I'm doing my best to keep that like 3-second down tempo. And I do find that it gives my forearms a good pump because there's a lot of time under tension where you're actually, holding onto the bar. This day, I also am working in some rows. I didn't include a video this week, but, I'm actually doing some barbell rows, which is something that I haven't done in a while. Now, here's day 4. This is my heaviest day of the week and quite promising. So this week I actually had to do my training on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, take Thursday off, and then do Friday because we had some plans on Saturday when I would normally change, which this is actually an adjustment that I'm totally fine with making during the off season. So this far out from nationals, I'm okay with kind of tweaking my schedule. As things got closer, I just wouldn't be able to recover, so that would be a problem. But as you can see here on the short turnaround, this day went totally fine. Now, kind of as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm used to doing my heaviest training not immediately after a day of work, so that was an extra kind of variable in there where I was on my feet all day before doing this like 3 to 4 hour session at the end of the week. But hey, still moved well. I would say these triples with 655 were something around an RPE 7 to 8. So I'm happy with how those moved. That was 3 sets of 3 on those, and we can definitely bump that up to hopefully 7 plates next week, which should be fun. Then bench, so still kind of having some discomfort in the shoulder. It's not truly pain, it's just like achiness, and you'll notice it on these reps, especially for the singles here. So the single with 405, and then I jumped to 430 because I was supposed to hit a single at 8, and I feel like I hit it pretty well as far as, you know, the RPE range. But you'll notice on my descent, I'm a little hesitant, whereas I would rather be a little more aggressive on the touch. But otherwise, the, you know, actual movement of the weight on the way up was pretty fast, so I'm okay with it. There we are. That was 405, and then we're about to check out 430, which was my next step up. Something I'll mention, you know, on these long nights, I do like to space out my caffeine intake. So right after school, I had a rain, which is 300 milligrams of caffeine, and then I actually wait until during bench I take a caffeine capsule from bulk supplements to add another 200 milligrams. So it's 500 milligrams of caffeine, but it's spread throughout the 3 to 4 hour workout. And I find it helps if I spread that out rather than taking it all at once, because, you know, then you feel really good for squat and you start to hit a wall as that caffeine starts to wear out for bench and deadlift much later in the session. So, like I said, I felt like 430 was a very reasonable RPE 8. We'll continue to kind of push that forward. And then I had back down sets of 4. Last week I did 365 for those sets. So this week I kind of took a 15-pound jump and went to 380. You'll notice these move really easily. And it's kind of funny, the more I benched, the more my shoulders seemed to loosen up and I was more comfortable with the descent. So in a sense, these felt better than my warm-ups for the top single. So pretty happy with that overall. And then we closed out the week with deadlifts up to 565, so a 20-pound jump from last week for 4 sets of 8. And these felt strong, especially for kind of the end of the week, the end of a short week, especially. Yeah, not a whole lot of complaints. If I had to throw an RPE on here, probably right around an at 7. My hamstrings definitely get fatigued by the end of the week. That's the main muscle group that tends to tire. It's not so much my low back or my quads, which obviously a deadlift isn't that much of a quad dominant exercise, but I can really feel it in my hamstrings and glutes by the end. But as you can see, the speed's pretty good. I'm happy with that, and we'll just keep things rolling forward. So I'm looking forward